Hey guys, thank you all for tuning in to the Whitetail Anonymous podcast. My name's John Four. I am one of the co-hosts of the podcast. The other one is the founder of Calculated Killers, Josh Bias. How are you? Say hey, Josh.
Hey guys, what's up? We appreciate all the support, and hopefully this new venture will give some insight into more of what we're trying to do, and we'll be able to bring you more info and tactics this way, more than blogs or whatever. And we can have some guests on, people who've got questions, whatever maybe, and that would answer specific questions. If they have questions in relation to some tactics or whatever stuff we do, this will be a better platform for us, we feel.
Yeah, I think Josh and I both, it's kind of been a dream of both of ours to launch the page and to even do a podcast, just something to get our thoughts out there with everybody and see, tell us what we do, what do we have success at. Maybe you can learn some things from us, and maybe we can learn some things from you. But I think Josh kind of opened it up well. Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we do at Calculated? Tell the viewers what we do, and what we're about and what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, I got the idea, and by no means do we expect to get rich, do we expect to get famous. That's far from the reasoning or the reason I started it. John come on board, a few months after, I started it. And, he's been a big help, and we've grew together. The page grew a lot since bringing him on. But my main goal was to share tactics, stories of a lot of deer that I was chasing, because I've got a few deer, that I've got multiple years of history with, and I enjoy sharing the history and, chasing specific deer more than anything. And I wanted to start sharing, those deer, because that's what it's about. It's a deer. It ain't about me. It ain't about John. It ain't about glory or trying to praise myself or anything, or John or anybody else. It's about the deer and giving them the respect they deserve. And I think some of the tactics I've learned the last few years can help some people. And I enjoy breaking stuff down. I'm kind of I don't know how to put it,
You're an information junkie. Information junkie is the word.
stuff down and try to get as much information out of what I've got. As far as rut dates, I was pretty much just by doing a little bit of work with harvest that, and I've pretty much been able to pinpoint the rut in southern West Virginia to almost a day that it kicks off. And certain areas are different. Those, come in certain areas on different places. Different node groups come in at certain times. But, that was their goal, or my goal, was to share a lot of tactics like that and to do some profiles of some of the bigger deer killed in West Virginia, southern West Virginia mainly, and try to get some publicity for, the area I grew up hunting, because it's a very special place to hunt. It gets, it's very underrated. It doesn't get the publicity a lot of other places get, and there's some stuff on the page that I put together, and it ranks right there with the Midwest, if not a little bit better as far as overall numbers of, mature bucks per square mile. And I've been blessed enough to hunt, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, North Carolina. That's not saying much, but and West Virginia is by far the best as far as mature bucks per square mile. In some areas, there's some areas you go into that are unfortunately post hard and this and that, and you ain't gonna see those numbers. And what turns a lot of people off from our area is the terrain. It is some of the roughest, and I would say maybe the roughest in the whitetail region as far as steepness. It ain't too high elevation. It ranges from, 1,800 foot to, some places 2,500 foot, but it gets there in a hurry a lot.
It's steep. It's very, very steep.
And you got to know how to read topo maps and stuff and break it down and learn. That is the number one key. And how I started figuring stuff out was breaking topo maps down and finding pinches, terrain pinches, and and a few other scouting tools we'll get into in some other podcasts that I've learned that have started putting me on big deer on an annual basis. Like I said, I'd like to share some of that.
Yeah, I think people will find that very interesting. And one thing to mention, we as a group, we're really trying to put a spotlight on the eastern, Appalachian region. West Virginia is our main area, but the whole Appalachian range, trying to get put a spotlight on these deer and the tactics to hunt these deer.
Just our area, don't get, there's a few people doing some things like Dave Miller, a good friend with Appalachian Range. He's shedding some light on the region. And not just that, but just the big wood hunters of the Northeast in general don't get the publicity, even as far north as Maine and places like that. Some of the most legendary whitetail hunters ever, come out of that area tracking and stuff in New York. We're going to try to mainly focus on Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, maybe, Virginia, some of North Carolina, Maryland, stuff like that. Try to talk to guys and get their tactics to try to help others, become more successful, and try to interview some people who've killed some great deer and, hear either the tactics or just the story behind some of the, greatest bucks killed in West Virginia over time, and let people tell their story. And like I said, try to shed some light on the area that, is very close to my heart. Come November, there's nowhere else I'd rather be in southern West Virginia. I grew up hunting, and the mountains have my heart, and I love chasing deer there during November.
Yeah, it was. This was actually my first year hunting in southern West Virginia, and I've got the bug deep. It's Josh has taught me a lot of things, and a lot of I'm kind of a junkie with him. That's why I guess that's why we get along so well. It's just all we think about in our spare time is the deer, and what we can do to get better, how we can learn to hunt these deer, better. And we learn from other people. And again, like you said, we never pretend to be experts at this. We're constantly learning new tactics and trying to, perfect our sport is a good way to say it.
There's always somebody out there that knows something you don't. If you have the mindset you think you know it all and you don't want to listen, you're never going to evolve. Hunting and becoming a better hunter is something that, you evolve with time, you mature, you learn more, and you can never know enough is the way I feel. I constantly read. I'm studying or doing something daily to try to learn more either about the herd I'm hunting, and the deer I have, or just the herd whitetail deer in general. I'm constantly, expanding my knowledge and trying to learn more to try to help me be successful, because we both work full-time jobs, and you got a very short time to, get it done. You got to stack the odds in your favor as much as you can with stuff. So much today's technology with trail cameras, for one, they are huge if you use them for what they are. Everybody likes to look at pictures and flip through the pictures, but I know, a lot of people, maybe 50% of the people who just go through the pictures and then just, delete them, save a couple of bug pictures to go on, won't even set the date and time on it. And, that date and time, and there's so much information there in that picture that it can help you kill that deer if you would just take the time to pull the information. If you're just willing to put in the work to do it. And Deer Lab, can help you do a lot of that and save you a lot of work. I was doing it before Deer Lab came out.
By hand, yeah. That's a lot of people, again, like Josh is saying, working a full-time job, you don't have time to sit here and crunch weather patterns and pull all this data from the internet and all this. And, Deer Lab will give it to you immediately. Give you that instant gratification by just uploading a picture, and it does it for you.
Oh, man, another thing, back to the trail camera, we are, lucky enough or blessed enough to be part of, and in my opinion, me and John's run a lot of the cell cams on the market the last few years. And, after we've tried them all, we decided to try to stab with Spartan. And, luckily, they bought what we were selling and, believed enough in us to make us pro staff. And I can tell you one thing, cell cameras take that to a whole new level because you can get the most, MRI, the most recent information instantly.
Immediately.
And it can help you, get that weather instantly and let you know when deer are moving. And, and if you're closer to your property, when a buck starts moving during daylight, you go in there and try to get him killed. I could talk for days about, the advantages of using cell cams in today's technology. And that's another thing we're going to do on the page is, the big thing we do is share every picture we get, whether it's a cell camera or regular, we upload and share it. And this summer we should have, I don't know, probably 15-ish cell cameras run from July through, December. And we hope to maybe help some people, in the areas we're hunting. They can help, when the rut's kicking off. Say, hey, this is in Wyoming County in this area. You got vacation days, burn them because they are hot right now. Just about you can tell on the cell camera when it takes off. So, our cell cams can benefit you guys as well as much as they do us.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it'd be good. Why don't you tell the story, a little bit of a story about last year, Josh, when me and you were hunting in Wyoming County and yours were going nuts in Logan. That was a good little example of how cell cams give you that instant gratification of knowing where you need to be and you need to be there now.
Well, there was, just a couple of weeks there, they were 2 or 3 times that the cell cams paid off. But the morning you're referencing is, we knew it was going to be a good morning. The days leading up to it, just with studying the weather, we'd both talked. And I told you, that morning, I was like, it's going to be a smoking morning. And I know usually my deer herd, or not my deer herd, but the deer herd where I hunt, normally I think the first doe or the majority of the does come in around November 12th, November 13th, and the bucks usually go into a frenzy. And last year, the weather hit perfect. And we had a cold front, and right after that cold front, it warmed up just a touch. And,
man, it was cold
the
that morning.
barometer went through the roof, and I told John, I was like, somebody's going to get a shot today. It's going to be one of those days. And our buddy John Miller killed a buck we called BK up there. Well, while I was sitting in the stand, me and John was hunting. Well, all 3 of us were in the area hunting a deer we called Double D, and anybody familiar with the page knows who Double D is. But we were hunting him, and, I was sitting in the stand, and my phone was blowing up with all these cell camera pictures of these bucks going crazy on, the place I hunt in Logan. I had 3 or 4 shooters running wild, chasing does. And I told John, I was like, I got to get out of here. I'd love to stay and hunt Double D another day or 2, but I've got to go to where the action is. And, I made the move. I packed up and went to Logan that day, and it wasn't a disappointment. Last year was because of those cell cams that put me on deer. And it was one of probably the most funnest weeks in a few days of rut hunting I've ever had in my life. I think there wasn't a day went by that I didn't see at least 3 bucks. And most of the time I was seeing 4 or 5 bucks. And anybody who hunts southern West Virginia knows that's
huge.
Yeah, you don't see that many deer. And it was, a lot of shooters. I think in 6 or 7 days we seen, I'd have to count it up, but gosh, I think 6 or 7 shooters. I passed the buck that was 4.5 years old. We call him Too Tall. Some of you probably familiar with him, and
he's going to be an absolute stud next year. Too Tall.
Yeah, the reason I passed him was because he was a 4-year-old. He was plenty big enough to shoot antler-wise, and that was that's the largest deer I've ever. I don't want to try to sound special or nothing because it was hard to pass, and I drew back on him and talked myself out of it. But I just knew the potential he had if he reached 5 years old, so I elected to let him walk. And luckily I did, because it wasn't just a few days later, the cell cams paid off. And we'll save that for a different podcast. But, can talk about how the cell cams played a key in, the week after that. But the cell cams put me in Logan from Wyoming, that next day just because they blew up that day. Had I been hunting there, I could have killed, a deer I've been hunting for 3 or 4 years. We call paparazzi.
Yeah.
He was all over the camera. He named on, he was living up to his name. I named him paparazzi because if there's a camera out,
he's there.
He's behind it, and he's going to take a picture, and he's going to pose for the picture most of the time. Not that he's meaning to, but he just usually does. And,
he's got some pretty headshots of paparazzi. If you check out the page, you can see him there. He should have been named Hollywood. He loves the lights. That's for sure. No.
He is a ham. He's a ham for the camera.
He's
hopefully,
hopefully
I can give him some good field photos next year.
I think it's kind of important for you guys to understand too that Josh and I it kind of sounds funny, but we love the deer. It's the chase for us, and it's we put this effort and time in for a hobby, a sport, whatever you want to call it. But it's just a passion for these deer. We want them to thrive. We want them to grow to their maturity, and watch them grow. Learn them, be around them. And it's almost a love for the deer. Would you agree with that term, Josh? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I just love them. They, they changed my life. They brought me back for some dark places, and that's a story for another time. But I love deer, and they've been a big part of my life since I was 13 or 14-year-old. I've been a deer nut, and people say, well, how can you kill something you love? Well, it's killing. Just the small, it's part of it. It's the end game. That's part of what happens, but it's more about the chase. You could give a hunter, you could just give me a deer, say, here, you can have him, go mount him, he's yours, and I wouldn't accept it. It's not about that. It's not about the kill. It's not about going and shooting one in a pen raised deer inside a fence. Some people like that, and I'm not against it. That ain't my thing, though. I want to earn it. I want to learn him. I want to outsmart him. And I want to be the one that says checkmate on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like John said, we do love them. We try to raise them. I try to keep them as healthy as I can. I know, this time of year, I spend hundreds of dollars every month keeping them fed and try to keep them as healthy as I can so they'll have healthier ponds. I don't like to see them struggle. And you're going to lose some here and there, but we do everything we can to manage them right and keep them as healthy as we can just because we can continue to chase them. Yeah. They're a big part of my life, and I honestly don't know who I would be without deer or without hunting. I mean, it's that big part of my life.
Yeah, the friendships made with it. I've Josh, me and Josh become really good friends, and also people on our lease that were with us, we've all become really good friends, with one common goal, to grow to grow deer, to be around the deer and chase these deer. And, it's been awesome. It's been a fun ride so far. I'm only optimistic and excited for what's next. We got a lot coming for you guys. We got a lot of people lined up for the podcast. People more interesting than me and Josh, hopefully. But they can talk about their tactics and different things. And with the turkey season right upon us, hopefully we can get some big time turkey hunters on here and talk about tactics. And as we go into the summer months, talk about food plots. We talk about mineral sites. We talk about hanging stands. Stand placement. Just things that Josh and I are nuts about, and hopefully we can give you guys some ideas, and you can give us some ideas on what.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that's what it takes. Everybody wants to kill them, and I'm not trying to offend anybody or whatever here, but it just to kill big deer consistent. This is the statement I use a lot. Anybody that is familiar with the page, I say it a lot. You got to make them a priority.
Yeah.
Everybody, I like to go on vacation. I like to fish. I like to go here. I like to go there. But I put, to kill them consistent, and if you want to be serious about it, and you got to make them a priority. You've got to put them up there, God, family, work, and then, it's got to be deer. You can't put them way down the list and say, I'll get to it when I get to it, because you're never going to be, if your goal to kill consistent big deer. you got to make them a priority and put them high up on your list to do so.
Yeah.
If that's not for you, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with just being a deer hunter. Because it's about having fun and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, no, it's I think back to, it's if you want to consistently kill these mature animals or harvest them or whatever you want to say, it's like Josh says, it takes the work, takes the effort, takes the time. I like to say everybody wants the result, and it's but nobody wants the effort that comes before the result. And we'll talk about those tactics. Yeah, we'll talk about some things I'm big on. With the summertime food, with the fall time food plots. I had a lot of success with those this year here in North Carolina. Actually, speak the devil.
I'm still tweaking food plots in West Virginia. That's something that's whooped my butt. It's took my lunch money a few times. We're going to try it again this year. I'm going to go to school with a pocket full of money. We'll see if it takes it again.
Deer hunting's not cheap, folks. So that's sometimes I feel like as I used to say, golf is the most expensive sport in the world. I think this has replaced it. But
right there with it.
Yeah.
About it. I love them both. So I don't have free money ain't got a lot of money to do much with.
No, I mean you both. But again, this is just an intro to what we're about. We're just two hardworking guys who this is our pastime. I got 2 kids. I work 50 hours a week, and every free minute I can put into it, I put into deer hunting. I put into learning. I put into chasing these deer, and we want to share it with you guys. We want you guys to be a part of what we do. Give us your ideas again, and and we'll give you ours. And hopefully you can take something from us, and we can take something from you. You got anything else to say on that one, Josh?
Yeah, same thing. And we will be looking for, we're going to be adding new team members, here in the coming months and before fall, hopefully. And, we're looking for like-minded people who, people like I just said, who are dedicated to getting it done and putting in the work. Not everybody loves to get out there and go 2 or 3 times during the summer in 90 and 100-degree days and put in that work. But
fighting snakes and ticks.
We're looking for.
Yeah.
And we ain't we ain't going to accept much because we're too small right now. But we are going to be adding a few people, and so you can contact us and ask us. And we're wanting to get more into the video side. But we're more info based, but we are going to try to slowly get into the filming and videography side of it and start bringing y'all more footage of the deer. But, it ain't a must that you got to have a bunch of kills on video or whatever, but we would like, the members that we're going to come along to start filming their hunt and try to give us some footage. And, we can share, the deer you're chasing and share, your history and your tactics to go after them just like we are, is what we would expect of new members. And if we get this, I don't know when this is going to be up, but if it's up tomorrow, we'll have to check. The Sunday morning, we'll be turkey hunting, and I'm going to try to go live and kill a turkey on live Facebook. So if anybody's up, check us out Sunday morning. We'll try to get it done. Like I said, this podcast may not be up. I'm not sure yet. John will take care of that. He's more of the technical guy and PR guy here. So hopefully it's up. Maybe y'all can check it out and we can pull it off. We tried to pull it off last year on a buck and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
That's
Perfect. Hey, you did, and something even more of a miracle. You had enough cell phone signal in southern West Virginia to actually go live. that's a miracle in itself, right there.
Logan's a little bit more civilized than Wyoming, if you can call it. You can imagine that. But it's home, and I love it. Anybody knows me knows I love home. There ain't nothing like. You can take a boy from a mountain, but you'll never take him mountains from a boy.
No, you're right about that, and. Yeah, something to add on what Josh said. We are looking to add a few new members here shortly, and hopefully we can find some people like-minded and same goals. Josh and I, that's why we get along so well, and we're on this together and everything is because we have the same goal. And the goal is to harvest mature deer and to learn every day and to be a part of a team. And I hope that we can find some like-minded people. And again, like you said, if you're interested and you think you are, give us a shout, shoot us a message. Let's have a conversation, and see if maybe you're a fit for us and see what we can do there. These podcasts are going to be brought to you by some of our companies and sponsors. We're going to have some Spartan camera stuff on here, hopefully some Remington scent control, Hawk tree stands, Nationwide deer scents. Who am I leaving out? Scent Crusher Josh. Hopefully we get some maybe get some Scent Crusher people on here to talk about some stories with that. It's going to be a neat thing, and we're doing some giveaways on the page right now. We have a Scent Crusher giveaway going. Go check it out, share it. You can win one of the cool grenades. Actually, for won the most innovative thing at the ATA this year was the grenade. So it was a pretty neat little wind checker. Then after that, we're going to give away a cell cam. We were crazy about cell cams, and everybody wants one, and you could win one for nothing, just liking our page and sharing and being a part of it.
And you truly don't know what you're missing if you're not running a cell cam. If you thought regular cameras are addictive, get a cell cam, and it takes it to a new level, and they are worth the money.
Yes.
Like I said, we'll do a podcast just on cell cams alone, maybe here in a couple weeks. But I promise you will not regret it, especially come hunting season. They will keep you on deer. And I know it's hard for everybody to afford to buy 4 or 5. We're lucky enough to where we're able to run that many. But they keep you on deer
constantly.
Where your bucks are. If they're locked down with the doe in a certain holler, But like I said, we'll go into more detail on that on another podcast. But
I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. Again, this is just an intro to the Whitetail Anonymous podcast, and this is Calculated Killers. Josh Bias, me, and John Four. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot us a message on Facebook. We'd love to talk to you. We love talking to our people and talking about deer hunting. We can talk about deer hunting all day long. And if anything else, just shoot us a message. And again, thanks for listening to our first podcast. And hopefully we'll have a couple more coming out here in the next coming weeks, and I'll get this one posted up as soon as possible once we get our editing done. Sounds good. Josh, anything else before we cut off?
Great. And, I hope we didn't sound too corny. Like I said, we're new to this. Hopefully they'll get better with time, and we can bring y'all some more good stuff and, share what we all love.
Yeah.
Chase some big, mature whitetails. And this time of year, those thunder chickens.
Yeah, I'll be in the woods hopefully Sunday morning. That's going to be my first day too. So anyways, guys, thanks again to everybody who supports the page right now. We appreciate it more than you know. And listen out for some more podcasts coming up.